What's up, Bulls Nation? You found yourselves locked on Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. Up ahead on our Monday episode, we got two games to break down. The Bulls split over the weekend, a loss to the Spurs, a win over the Blazers. Lots of points in both games. Speaking of which, we'll talk about the Bulls' team defense issue, but also highlight the strong defensive play of one Ayo Dosunmu. That's all next on a fresh Locked on Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome in to Locked on Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave Watson here at BAWL Sports. Bow. You can follow us at Locked on Bulls and also hit us up on that text to voicemail line 331-979-1369. All right, we got an L to the Spurs, a W over the Blazers. Big Dave, let's start with the San Antonio game. To me, the biggest takeaway from this game came from the mouth of DeMar DeRozan at the post-game podium when he looked at the fucking box score and said, wow, 122 points should be enough to win an NBA game. Yeah. You cannot lose a game where you score 122. You get 32 from DeMar. You get 30 from Zach. You get 18 apiece from Vooch and then Kobe off the bench. How do you lose that game? The answer, this Bulls defense is really struggling, man.
Yeah, they're having some real issues. And before we get into that defense, I really don't want to take away from what the Spurs did, because watching them execute was a thing of beauty. Like they were out executing them, man.
If he doesn't get an all-star reserve spot, is it a snub for DeJounte Murray? I mean, man, that kid can play.
Man, he has been awesome, Matt, all year. We on Locked on NBA, me and Nick talk about him a lot. Like every time we do a show, it seems like he's got a triple-double going on. Like he is that good. You know, the length, the size.
29, 9, and 12.
He's a rebound short. Like that's so crazy. He is so good. Like you just forget how good point guards are in this league, especially in that Western Conference. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really deep at that position. So you might call it a snub, but you're like, well, who you taking off? But you might, but he's just that good. But I don't want to get too far into it. But he should be. He should be an all-star. He's been awesome. But yeah, man, just the way they played, they just really, truly just out-executed the Bulls. And it kind of kicked off in that second half. Like in that second quarter, you saw it kind of happening. You know what I'm saying? Saw it kind of coming. You know, you could feel it coming in the air tonight. You know, shout out Phil Collins. But in that third quarter, greatest drum part. Oh, my God, that breakdown gives me chills still. Shout out Mike Tyson, also on Hangover.
He still got it.
He still got it. Yeah. But man, dude, that third quarter, it was just unrelenting in that third quarter. After that second quarter, because we went to halftime, man, I was like, okay, you know, still kind of got the lead. We're gonna make adjustments. We'll come back out, and you know, we'll continue on with this game.
Took a 5-point lead in a halftime.
Yeah,
because the Bulls' offense was humming. You know.
Yeah. I was like, cool. We'll survive that storm. We'll come out in that third and run them off the court or something like that. They were not having that, and they were lights out, Matt, from the 3-point line. I mean, what did they finish with? 16 to 37.
37, 43%.
Nasty. And they are not a good 3-point shooting team. They're just not. But against the Bulls, and it seems to be a pattern too. Like against the Bulls, teams really find their 3-point shot against these Chicago Bulls. That seems to be a thing. But man, dude, like I don't want to take that away from them. They really out-executed them. But yeah, Matt, that Bulls defense, though, boy, when they was getting put in that pick and roll in that transition, they weren't getting out the shooters. It was just tough after a while.
The other thing to me, and it has been a problem that's plagued this undersized Bulls team on and off all season long. The Spurs are one of the best second chance point scoring teams in the NBA. And it seemed like any time the Bulls were close to getting control of this game with a run, a spurt, building their lead, they couldn't control a rebound on the defensive end. And that Spurs team made them pay time and again with second chance points. But even without that, I mean, the Spurs shot 53% from the field.
Yeah.
53%. Yeah. It didn't help that the Bulls were ice cold from three themselves. The Spurs knocked down 16 threes, the Bulls 8 of 30. The Bulls shot 52% from the field and lost. I mean, look, I don't know where you want to go about breaking down what went wrong for the Bulls defensively in that game against the Spurs. Like you said, they had a very solid shooting night from behind the three-point line. Billy Donovan talked about it in the game, saying, look, I think we just gave the Spurs too many good open looks from three. Not like a prolific three-point shooting team, but they got good looks, and they knocked them down. The Bulls have struggled with that at times this season, and they have struggled without Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso in pick and roll and point of attack situations where one rotation is late. The Bulls make one rotation or two, but the second or third is missing. And that's how you get those guys with those open looks.
Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso are arguably the two best perimeter defenders in the league. Where's the three-point line? What do you think that is, guys?
It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. That's the perimeter. So when you got missing those two guys, you're going to have those wide open looks at the perimeter. But you touched on it, Matt. That's not what did it. It was the second chance points. It was the second chance opportunities that absolutely killed them. Because even when they played solid defense and they missed the shot, they could not get that rebound, man. And the Spurs, it really came to fruition. I forget the guy's name. Oh, my goodness. I don't want to butcher his name on the Spurs, but who knows a lot of these players' names on the Spurs? But I can't remember. Whoever played center, was it Podol?
The big man, Jakob Poeltl?
Poeltl, yeah. My goodness, man. Poeltl was out there doing work on the offensive boards, man. 21 and 11 is what he walked away with.
And 6 of his 11 came on the offensive glass.
Dude, doing work on the offensive glass, man. Like those second chance points work consistently huge, and they're depleting. You know, when you see a team doing that to you, when you're already struggling defensively, when you actually do it well,
right?
And then you can't get the rebound to run the other way. It's depleting, man. So they were getting it, kicking it back out for the three-point shot, and they were just really killing them with the open three-point looks. They really were.
Even their backup big, Eubanks.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who is Eubanks, and why does he have 4 offensive rebounds? My God. I mean, I know that you and I have been preaching patience when it comes to Bulls fans looking at that February 10th trade deadline, and do we give up Kobe or do we give up P-Dub for some serious rim protection and interior defense and size?
Yeah.
And just knowing that, like, look, Billy Donovan likes to play small. He is a successful NBA coach when he's playing a lot of like 3 and sometimes even 4 guard/wing kind of lineups. Another game where you just see the Bulls get really bodied in the interior, and it kind of starts to wear on you. Also, my last thought from this Spurs game, we've talked a few times this season about good Troy Brown Jr. and bad Troy Brown Jr. and how he fits into Billy Donovan's rotation when the Bulls are healthy and when the Bulls are not healthy. Right now, the Bulls are not healthy, and Troy Brown Jr. is being forced to play meaningful minutes off the bench. Man, that dude was a skid mark on the court in that Spurs game, and it didn't even get any better against Portland.
Wow.
I had not high hopes, but I had just hopes when we got him in that trade at the deadline last season that he would be a useful piece. Yeah. And sometimes this season, he has been a useful piece.
Yeah.
He can rebound for a guy his size, but if I have to see another Troy Brown Jr. failing to make an entry pass or another Troy Brown Jr. just chucking up a brick, I'm struggling with Troy right now, Dave.
You know what? 2 things. One, Vooch will be okay with his, being inconsistent. He's a 2-time All-Star that he'll find his way. You're Troy Brown Jr. You're not allowed to be inconsistent. You can't do that, okay? You have to be consistent, sir, because we could be all right without you. We ain't gonna be all right without Vooch. We need that. You know what I'm saying? Like hey, all right, you're not allowed to be inconsistent. All right, we need you to be consistent. The second thing, and Matt just touched on it, it drove me absolutely insane that he cannot throw an entry pass into Nikola Vucevic, Matt. And I'm talking about, I can't even blame lack of size. He's not small.
No.
He's not like he didn't see Vooch there. He would not give him the basketball. I'm screaming at the screen. Give him the ball. You remember, Matt, how I used to yell about Lowry Markin and not getting the ball like that?
Yeah,
that's what I was flashing back to. You know what I'm saying? It was just flashing back to being that kind of angry that he could not get this dude an entry pass. It was driving me insane.
It's like a glitch in an old football game where you try to throw the ball and your quarterback throws it backwards 3 yards instead. That's Troy Brown Jr. trying to make an entry pass. It's infuriating. All right. We also have another game to break down over the weekend. The Bulls beat the Blazers 130-116. We'll get to that next on deck. But first, Big Dave, tell the people about the Built Bars.
You know what? We'll calm everybody down and forget about this loss, Bulls Nation, and just relax. Get you some Built Bars. Don't go get a Snicker. They say when you're hungry, you need a Snicker. No. You know why? Because that's around 240 calories. That's like 30 grams of sugar. That's like dozens of net carbs. No, Built Bar, 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein, and all of them are covered in 100% real chocolate. And guess what? Snickers ain't gonna give you no options. You know what? You get your peanut, your caramel, and get that, and that's it. You're done. You know what? Coconut almond, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, cookies and cream, salted caramel, mint brownie, and we'll throw in a flavor of the month, Matt Peck, because you let them know what that flavor of the month is. Please.
The churro puffs are back, baby.
Oh, Snickers ain't rocking with that. Oh, go to built.com. Use the promo code LOCKS15. Get yourself 15% off your order right now. That is LOCKS15 to get yourself 15% off your order at built.com. Built Bar. We ain't Snickers.
Moving along, breaking down the Bulls action over the weekend. The Bulls beat the Blazers 130-116 to bounce back from the loss on Friday. Big Dave, I mean, this is yet another game where the Bulls offense is humming. I mean, you put up 122 on Friday night. You put up 130 on Sunday. You got all of your offensive pieces, really. No offense to Lonzo and what he does, distribution-wise, and Caruso's offensive contributions. But you're really missing them on the defensive end. You got Zach, you got DeMar, and you got Vooch, knock on wood, stringing together some strong games here. By the way, Vooch in this win over Portland, 24 points on 11 of 15 and 14 rebounds. This game brings him into a tie for 6th in the NBA this season on that double-double list.
Would you look at that?
The Bulls offense is not a problem, Dave. Other than these certain games last week against the Thunder, against Toronto, where you're sputtering in the fourth quarter, you have too much ISO, people aren't moving for whatever reason. In these last 2 games, the Bulls offense is pouring in buckets.
Yeah.
And yet, it wasn't that comfortable of a win against Portland because it gave up 116.
See, I don't look at it that way. I really don't. I looked at it as a win. I was like, we needed a victory, and we got a victory any way we could get it. Because we know the struggles that this team has. We understand what we're missing. We can't do what we really want to do until, these guys get back. And we'll see what AK and Mark Eversley do, around the trade deadline. But in the meantime, between time, we got to roll with what we got. And so we got to figure out what we do best. And what do we do best? Score. They score. They put the ball into the bucket. They score. Zach LaVine played really nice, I thought. I thought he had a really, really nice game, man. I liked him off the ball. Also,
he was cold on Friday. I think it was like 2 of 10 from downtown. He had a nice bounce back. Still only 3 of 9 from behind the arc in this win over Portland, but still a solid bounce back.
Yeah, and Billy Donovan saying, he's getting reacclimated, because he was out because of the knee injury. So it's going to take a little time to get there. But I like the fact that he's getting there. And I like the fact that Zach is getting foul calls also, too, because he went to the line 4 times, but it was just the fact that he was getting calls. Like the whistle was blowing when he was going to the hoop. And I'm very happy to see that because guys are swiping down. That's what I said before, Matt. That's when he's going to get those calls, when guys are reaching in. He's not going to get it with the body. He's going to get it when guys are reaching in. That he was getting those calls, and I liked it like that. And he was hitting those corner threes too. He was posted up over there. He's 3 of 9, but I promise you all 3 probably came from the corner, man, because he was doing well. So shout out to him. But Nikola Vucevic, my goodness, what a game this dude is playing, man. I mean, it's Nikola Vucevic, y'all. Like, I don't know if y'all know that. I know you don't like him. I understand that. Well, actually, I don't understand it. But it's Nikola Vucevic. You know, who said this? I think Nick from Locked On NBA said this. He said Nikola Vucevic is he's a poor man's Joker and a rich man's Nurkic. That's Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
That's what that is right there. You know what I'm saying? And how can you go wrong with something like that? Matt, he was doing it all. And also, since the offense was clicking, the defense is going to look okay, right? So, the defense looked solid. It looked right on point, man. It's so much fun.
He had a couple of highlight defensive plays in this game against the Blazers.
Yes, he did, Matt. Yes. And I love the fact, and shout out to Stacey King, because he's been pointing it out for a while now, that he has to play inside more so than getting outside. And guess what he's doing more? He's not picking and popping. He's picking and rolling. He's going to the bucket, trying to get it that way, because I love the fact he's like, well, that's not working, but I'm 7 feet tall and large and big. So you know what? Yeah, let me go down low and just throw it into the bucket that way. So I'm enjoying watching him play.
And I think when Bulls fans saw the Vooch trade at the deadline last season and acknowledged not watching a whole lot of bad Orlando Magic basketball, but just kind of knowing like, oh, Vooch, he's like the guy in Orlando, couple of all-star nods, being the guy on a bad team. And then you look at what he does, you're like, okay, clearly he can score inside. But then also it was that flirtatious, like, oh, this is also a stretch big who is like in the last couple of seasons worked his 3-point shot up to like flirting with 40% from behind the 3-point line. And that's what people fall in love with, right? Is the stretch big in today's NBA game.
True.
And yes, it is in an ideal world nice to have Vooch being able to knock down threes. And guess what? In many of the Bulls' wins this season, he has knocked down timely threes. Whether or not he's shot the three ball well all season long, which he has not, his 3-point percentage this season is down from the upswing when we brought him in the trade. But a night like tonight against Portland, 1 of 2 from behind the 3-point line, 11 of 15. Like, yes, ideally you want that 3-point shot to be there. But as much as this Bulls offense is not built around 3-point shooting, they are the lowest volume shooting 3-point team in the league. But you have guys that can knock down those shots. You got Zach. You got Kobe. You got Matt Thomas getting minutes right now off the bench. Shout out to him. You got guys who can. Javonte Green knocked out some threes against Portland. Good for him.
Yeah.
You want Vooch to be able to knock down a 3 or 2 per game. You don't need Vooch taking 5 or 6 threes a game. You need him working in that post. And again, Big Dave, I feel like we have said this countless times when we've been defending Vooch on this podcast. It's not just about Vooch operating in the paint as a scorer. It's about Vooch operating in the paint as a facilitator and as the crux of an offense where the ball is moving.
Every which way. That's all it is, y'all. Just enjoy. You know what? I'm gonna move on from Vooch. But yes, he's playing incredibly well, and it's so much fun to watch. And even him passing, Matt, like you're right, it's so much fun to watch that out of the post when he's hitting guys in the corner and hitting guys, at the elbow for the 3-point shot. It's amazing to watch. It's so much fun. Vooch is fun to watch, y'all. So enjoy this and relax. Enjoy it and relax.
I'm sure there are plenty of people out there saying I'm not relaxing. It's a couple of games. It's a couple of good games.
Of course they are.
Bad games,
I know they hate Christmas. They hate fun. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's not, they don't like fun. You rather be right than have fun. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Well, you enjoy that. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this. All right. 3 people I want to touch on, though, Matt. 3 people I want to touch on. That's funny. 3 people I want to touch on. Javonte Green, and you mentioned him. 16 points, man, 3 rebounds. He did it from the start. He picked up 7 of those first 13 points from the jump street, man. He has been awesome. And he's bringing that defensive pressure, that he's putting on guys, fighting over screens, fighting through the picks. You saw him hit Nurkic. He hit Nurkic. He got hit with a foul because he ran through that screen and almost put Nurkic on the floor. He's doing that little stuff, getting them 50-50 balls. You know what I'm saying? Playing defense, getting those balls. He's doing those little things that the Bulls need. He's been awesome since he's returned, man. He is so necessary. Kobe White, it just feels like I don't hear nobody talking about Kobe White anymore. Listen, Matt, my DMs are bare from people hate on Kobe White now. They used to be full. I'm talking full of people trying to talk to me about Kobe White, okay?
Especially after last week when he had that stretch of 3 games where he was like 3 of 21 from behind the three-point line.
What's going on with, though? What's he doing? Yeah, he's a shooter. He goes through these things. It will turn around. I don't know. He goes to San Antonio, splash. You know what I'm saying? He comes back home, Portland, splash. Let him play. He'll be all right. Scored 18 in both games. Kobe White has been solid. Tony Bradley, I got to give him some love real quick.
Where did those Bradley miss?
Where has this human being been?
What was that?
When did he drink some competency juice? Like he just knew it. He did
He
not
had
bring
some of Michael's secret stuff in the locker room.
Exactly, dude. Dude, he was doing big man stuff. He was keeping the ball high, not bringing it low so guys could swipe it away. He was running the floor. He was swatting shots. The sequence where he had 3 straight tap outs for offensive rebounds was awesome. And then they're finding him in the post for easy layups and dunks. It was a Tony Bradley. What he up? 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Like that's awesome. More of that, because I promise you that also helped Vooch because he didn't have to come off the bench so quickly, and they felt more comfortable continuing to run their offense and their defense because of how competent Tony Bradley played. Not just good. He played competent basketball. Shout out to him.
I mean, this is the first time we've talked about Tony Bradley in a positive light in
it's been a minute.
A while. And it is interesting that in this game, Tony Bradley gets 16 minutes. Tyler Cook, meanwhile, DNP Billy's decision. Because, I think we had talked a couple of weeks ago about, when Tyler Cook was out briefly with that injury, how much we were missing Tyler Cook.
Yeah,
because in certain stretches of certain games, when Tyler Cook was kind of stealing some of those Bradley minutes as a small ball backup big, the Tyler Cook was looking more useful and more efficient than Tony Bradley. So who knows? I'm not putting too much stock into one decent game from Tony Bradley. We'll see how Billy does with this front court, depth and rotation moving forward. Good for Tony Bradley. If we can get some usefulness out of him on any occasion like tonight, great. I'm gonna wait to see more before I give him the official tap on the back.
It's fair, but I'm just giving him love because he had a good game, and it's been a minute since he's had one.
Fair enough. Okay, so the Bulls get the split over the weekend. And by the way, are still a half game back of Miami in those Eastern Conference standings.
You hear that, Bulls fans?
Brooklyn Nets are reeling, have lost 4 straight, but it's still a jumble up there at the top.
Yes.
I'm trying not to panic, Dave.
Yeah. Relax, man.
I'm trying not to panic. I still anytime I close my eyes, I just see 6-8 weeks. And it's great when you can get a win, when you outscore your opponent and nobody really has any interest in playing defense. The Bulls beat the Blazers. They let the Blazers shoot 52% from the field and 46% from behind the 3-point line.
Yeah.
This is not sustainable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You cannot be a great team when your defense is giving up 115 plus every night. And when the Bulls were ending December and starting into January, after those buzzer beaters from DeMar, when Billy Donovan came back from being in protocols himself, he talked about, this is a nice, fun winning streak we have here, but I'm worried about our defense.
Yeah.
Billy is not an idiot, because I am seeing what Billy is seeing, which is I am worried about this Bulls defense, Dave. Talk me off the ledge if you can.
I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. One, you're not wrong to be concerned about it. You know what I mean? Because we all see it, and we know what it is. Here's the reasons why I don't freak out about it. I mean, you're in the month of February now. This is the month of the peaks and valleys in the NBA season. Teams are going through their injuries, still figuring stuff out. The best case scenario is what the Bulls are having right now. They're half a game out of first place. Through all of this, they're still a half game out of first place. And you would think a team like the Nets would be there. You know, the Nets turn around, they lost 4 straight. They drop right on down to 6. Bulls are maintaining. That's one thing. The other thing, you're right. You can't be a great team without that, but you can be an okay regular season team. And that's what I need the Bulls to be until guys get back. I don't need them to be great right now. I just need them to win. I have to take this on a game-by-game basis. I can't look ahead to these other teams that are coming. I really got to take it game by game because each game is very, very important until these guys get back. It's not life or death, and I need guys to know that because, my God, the freak out when the Spurs loss happened with y'all. Listen, man. My God, man. Seriously, though, I understand they lost, but damn, my God, this is the worst. This team, oh my God. I was like, calm down, man. Relax. They come back the next time they win. You just need the Bulls to maintain. You know, it's some holes in the ship. They got to plug it up. Here's the other thing, Matt. I trust AK and Mark Eversley wholeheartedly. All right. So if they see the issues, which I know they do, guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to do their best to fix them. They're going to try to do their best to make these moves to plug these holes until these guys get back. That is the most important thing. And that's why I can relax a little bit. That's why I'm not in full freak out panic mode. It's because it's competency all around the UC, from the coaching staff to the players to the guys upstairs. It's competency all around. So you have to take this on a game-by-game basis. They went through a ridiculous tough chunk of schedule in November and in January, and they came out the other side still a half game out of first place, man. You got to take it on game-by-game. Just be an okay team. I don't need great.
I get that, but I think, you know, in the defense of any Bulls fans out there who looked at the San Antonio loss and said, you got to be kidding me, that's a terrible loss, are thinking along the lines of, okay, yeah, we're trying to just stay afloat right now and stay in the thick of things at the top of the Eastern Conference standings right now, knowing that we got guys out and hopefully recovering from surgeries and whatever else, we'll get guys back before the best of 7 series round 1 starts. Yeah.
Yay.
But the way you stay afloat is by beating bad teams. Yes, and you absolutely should quantify the San Antonio Spurs at whatever. I think they were like 18-31 or whatever.
18-31 coming in, yeah.
As a bad team. Mm-hmm. So it's a bad loss if you lose to a bad team. If the Bulls,
I agree,
shorthanded as they are, can't beat, you know, Philly, who they have on deck, you know, at the back end of this coming week, that's understandable. If you can't beat Phoenix, shorthanded as you are, that's understandable. But you can't lose these games that are, like they have done already this season, and kudos to them, games that the Bulls need to just put in their pocket and put in their pocket and put in their pocket, because that's what this team couldn't do last season. A mediocre team that couldn't beat other mediocre teams. And that's why they weren't even a mediocre team, but a bad team, because they lost to the mediocres. You got Magic, Raptors, Pacers on deck this week. You got to win those 3 games. You just, you have to. I'm sorry, you have to. And I like it, any night, you know, any given Sunday, whatever. It's not easy to win any NBA game, even in the regular season.
Yeah.
But when you are dealing with a situation that the Bulls find themselves in now, where you are a good team, but you are not a great team because you're missing the pieces that make you a great team, you can't win by giving up 120 points, and you're giving up 120 or 130 points to mediocre teams.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a great point. Straight up. Here's my thing on it, Matt. One, I can't say that about the Raptors. They're a good team. Like, honestly,
they're an improving team. Yeah, they are.
They just had a triple overtime win over the first place Miami Heat.
Right.
Okay.
And thank you, Raptors, for that.
Yeah. And that's my other thing, Matt. If we lose, you have to look at what else is happening in the Eastern Conference. When the Bulls started losing, guess who else lost? The Nets lose. Guess who else did it? Then the Heat would lose. Then who else would do it? Then Philly lose. So, okay, so we stay right there. So it's a wash. Let's go to the next game. That's why I have to go at it game by game. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at it like I got to win the next 3. I have to win the game in front of me. That's the one I got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? If it's there and in front of me, I got to deal with that. If they win, great. If they lose, okay, what the other teams do? Did they lose? Did they win their games? We got to figure that part out because it's a log jam going on in the Eastern Conference, man. And so everybody's trying to get these wins, and they're very important, but it has to be on a case-by-case basis for this team going forward. They have to do it the best way they possibly can. Best way they possibly can is to score, which is wild to say about a Chicago Bulls team because that's just never been the case for the Bulls, man. It's usually been, defense, spit, glue, and grease, and hopefully, Denzel don't throw the ball, out of bounds or something. But this is a new thing for the Bulls. This is honestly what good NBA teams go through when they're dealing with injuries. This is how it looks. They have to maintain and stay the course and just try to win the next game and get there. You still got your three. That's the big thing. You still got your big three. You still got Zach, DeMar, Vooch. Yes, you should beat San Antonio. You should definitely beat this. Yes, you should beat the Orlando Magic. It should go down like you shouldn't be getting washed by them dudes. Okay, that's the. I can't wait to play this Orlando Magic game either, man. I can't wait.
I hope that's a vengeance game. Really,
I want that game. All right, I want it. All right, but sometimes those things happen. You get them L's, man. But it didn't affect you in the place that you are in your standings. That's the most important thing right there. You're still there, guys. Like you're still there. You ain't failed. You're still right there. Go to the next day. As we keep piling up and keep moving on, then 6 will go to 5, 5 will go to 4, and so on and so on and so on. Next thing you look up, Patrick Williams is back. But that's what you have to do. You have to take it game by game. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying the full-fledged freakouts jumping off of buildings that y'all did for the Spurs was just OC. But you're right. It's a terrible loss, a bad loss, a horrific loss that should not happen. You're right. I hear all of that. But my God, this is the worst thing. This is the boiling era. Look, relax, man. All right, just chill on that. That's all I'm saying.
All right, real quick before we get out of here, last thing that I know you wanted to touch on, Dave, and I'll lead you in with this. I religiously read Zach Lowe's 10 Things column for ESPN Plus.
Shout out.
Every week, he writes 10 thoughts on a team or a player, what's going on in the NBA that week. And guess who made an appearance in Zach Lowe's 10 Things column? Because it was Ayo Dosunmu. And not just for what he's doing for this Bulls team, playing in that backcourt starting role while Lonzo is out, but it was about the way that Ayo Dosunmu has stood out, not just among the rookie class, but among NBA players everywhere, as one of the best guys defensively, fighting through screens and playing D-up one-on-one defense in the NBA this season. You and I have talked about it. Billy Donovan giving him some of the biggest defensive assignments night in and night out.
Yeah.
Kudos to Ayo for getting that cred on the national scale. What have you been keeping your eye on with Ayo defensively over the last stretch?
What has really been impressive to me is what you just said. He's guarding the best player on the team. He's a rookie. I kind of forget that. So I'm not saying that so people remind themselves. I'm saying it so I remind myself. This dude's a rookie, okay? This is his first year ever in the NBA. Hey, I need you to go in there, start at the point guard position, and go guard Trae Young. Hey, I need you to go in there, start at the point guard position, go guard Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, guys, these aren't the point guards that he's just guarding. He's guarding the best players on the team. So you look at what he did against a guy like Anthony Simmons tonight. Simmons in the afternoon, or this afternoon, I should say, who has been amazing. He has been playing great, man. He's been playing really well. He had 21 points tonight. 7 of 18 shooting. He shot 38% from the field. That's Ayo getting on his nerves. So I saw a Twitter he's on the podcast, according to sources. My man Christian, man. Shout out to Christian. Follow him on Twitter. I think it's at Snacks for Tweets. Yeah, I'll put it up at the end of the show, but I think it's at Snacks for the number 4 tweets. But intelligent Bulls fan, intelligent Bulls mind, okay? He put up a graphic that he created and broke down the numbers of Ayo and what guys are shooting against him when he's guarding these guys. Just a quick one. I'm going to run it down to you. Jason Tatum, when he guarded Jason Tatum, 4 of 13, 3 turnovers. Trae Young, 2 of 9, 2 turnovers. Ayo also had 2 blocks. Karis LeVert, 2 of 9, 0 of 5 from the 3-point line. 2 turnovers. Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's nice. 2 of 8. 2 turnovers and a block. And you know what he did against Cole Anthony. That was like 1 of 5 shooting against Cole Anthony. That is Clamp City against elite names, all-stars, guys who play in the playoffs every single year, guys whose jersey other people are buying and wearing. Ayo is in those jerseys. He is working these dudes, man. It's incredible what he's doing against these guys. They are just so flustered, and it's awesome to watch, man. Shout out to Ayo. He's playing great.
I mean, Zach Lowe called him one of the absolute steals of the 2021 draft class in that column. And I believe Billy Donovan was talking about it recently where it was like, oh, yeah, if you redo that draft class, not only is he absolutely a number or a first round pick, but he might be a pretty high first round pick. You know, he might not make first team all rookie, but I would not at all be surprised right now to see Ayo snab a spot on that all rookie second team. He's playing that well, and he means that much to this Bulls team right now. And it's good because guess what? They need him. They're down Lonzo, they're down Caruso, and Ayo Dosunmu has stepped into this massive role as a starting guard for this Bulls team, and he's holding his own on both ends of the floor. By the way, another 11 assist night against the Blazers.
Come on, man. And the mid-range that he has now, you see he's incorporated that to his game, and I guarantee you that's all DeMar. But he's incorporated a nice mid-range shot to his game, man.
He just watched DeMar for 30 games and was like, oh, yeah, I can do that too. Cool. All right, thanks. Thanks for the tip, old-timer. All right, that's it for tonight. The Bulls off Monday night, back in action Tuesday against the Magic. We're out for revenge. Gotta avenge that loss to Orlando from a couple weeks ago. In the meantime, you can hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Bulls_Peck. Dave's at Bow, BAWL Sports. We are at Locked On Bulls. And that text to voicemail line is 331-979-1369. And stay tuned later in the week because we will tell y'all who is walking away with that autographed Lonzo ball, baby. It's in my house. It's right over there. It's right over there. I'm going to ship it out to one of you.
Yes.
Until next time, see Red be good. Peace out.